Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is the 37th video of the Alternatives playlist. That playlist and another video from it will pop up in the last 20 seconds of this video on screen. For this review, we have to thank Mr. Greg Lammers, who sourced this product for me. It would have been an issue for me getting it myself. So we have him to thank. If you see Mr. Lammers in the comments section, give him a thank you. I am going to pretty heavily preface this video. I am not jump starting or restarting doing alternative reviews. I'm doing this one because of a personal interest I have in this product or this product line. All right. The reason for it is this is the collaboration, of Tucker Carlson and National Tobacco. Although now I am beginning to question the National Tobacco aspect. That said, that is why I am doing a nicotine pouch review. I am not planning on doing any more at this time. The rest of this product line, there are 4 in total, will be uploaded review-wise because I have them to the Patreon channel. The $1.25 monthly membership would get you access to those if you were really interested. That all said, this is ALP. It is one product of a 4-product line. This is the Mountain Wintergreen. It is nicotine pouches. There are 20 pouches to this can. We are going to take it over to the desk. We're going to take a closer look at the packaging and the product inside of it, and then we will bring it back up top. The Patreon I mentioned is one of 2 links in the description area. They're both important in my mind. I think you get more out of the Patreon aspect, but either or, I thank you for your consideration, and I thank Mr. Greg Lammers again for sourcing these products for me. That is because they're only at this time sold online at the website, and you can only buy rolls. And I, for these purposes here, do not need a 5-can roll of nicotine pouches. And I probably never will. So, thank you again, Mr. Lammers. Anyway, we're off to the desk to check out what this is all about. Okay, and here we are. Okay, so I am not using a paper towel. We are on the plain old desk tonight, partly because everything I'm dealing with here is base color white. So, as you can see, these are 6 milligram. Now, the products come in 3, 6, and 9. When Mr. Lammers was putting his order in, he was attempting, even for himself, to get the 9, but they were evidently sold out. So that is a sticker on a plastic lid, and this specking here, that's purposefully done. And this is not going to work for me. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Wildly delicious and a barcode. We have some slightly off balanced banding. Mountain Wintergreen. More branding. The milligram branding. 20 pouches. Everything is pretty clear, straightforward, which is good. Going to the back. So they list ingredients on this. I don't know if this is the normal for nicotine pouches, but if it is, that is a good thing. You have all the warnings. You have the California warning. Now, this is interesting. I didn't expect there to be any mention of Mr. Carlson on here, but there is no mention of National Tobacco either. It is being distributed by ALP Supply Company, LLC of Wilmington, Delaware, which is literally maybe a 15-minute drive from my house. It is designed in the USA, assembled in India. Now, normally that would give me pause, the Indian part, just because they have a very different idea of flavors and whatnot. Although usually I have found with Indian products, except for the almost purposely made sketchy ones. Most Indian products, when it comes to nasal snuff, etc., so forth, are, although not something I like taste-wise, of good quality. So the foreign aspect for this is not really a big deal. After all, it's not going to be affecting one way or another U.S. agriculture and farmers. So that's not a big deal, but at the same time, it does throw me a little bit because I don't know if national tobacco would have to be outsourcing to another country. Then you have lot numbers and the back warning label. So let's get into this. Oh. Whoa. Okay. Let's... Okay. It's got a really, really rubbery band, first off, and a very thin channel for your nail. It's easy not to catch the channel in the first shot. So these are going to be larger, I believe, than, let's say, a Zyn pouch. And I believe moisture level is going to be present, or a moisture level that you would notice. And that's what you got. And what you got is, as far as nicotine pouches go, a fairly good sized pouch that is really, really plump. Like it's completely filled up. There's not, I'm fluffing it a little bit, but there's not a lot of room, spare room to work with in there. There's going to be 20 of these in there. I can smell the wintergreen from here. I'm probably about 1.5 feet away from it. So now they're not going to be sopping wet, obviously, but I can feel that the product in here is sort of clinging to itself. And it feels, it's not tacky. It's not like leaving anything on my fingers, but it feels like there's a slight stick when I pull my fingers off of it. So moisture level is probably going to be up there. We are going to take this back up top because I'm smelling it. It smells actually pretty good, wintergreen wise, so I am now definitely interested. Back up we go. Okay, and we are back. It's left a smell in my hands. The product looks good. These pouches are not as big as Rogue. That said, they could very well have as much product in them as a Rogue pouch. The smell off the can, it's a pretty, gives you the idea that it's sweet, wintergreen, but it's pretty strong. Like it's like, it smells like it's a strong wintergreen, but it's still sweet. So we'll throw one in here. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. No, I'm not quitting tobacco, but that is a pretty good tasting product. Now, it's not going to be it's not a sharp-edged grizzly wintergreen. There is mouthfeel, but it's not exactly, you know, the wintergreen burn that you would get with wintergreen dip. That said, it's very zingy, especially at place of contact. And although I wouldn't call it a burn, whatever you want to call that feeling, this feeling, there's a good bit of it. So that is most likely nicotine, I'm guessing. As I said, these come in 3 milligram, 6 milligram, and 9 milligram. As far as me and Mr. Lammers can tell, they are only, that they're not in retail stores. Not yet, anyway. But they are online. The issue with this is you gotta buy them by the roll. All right? Even if you see their mix match pack that gives you all the products, it's one roll of each, which is sort of like, couldn't you, like, you know, put together one roll of all four and an extra of one, etc., so forth. Wow. Okay, you know what? It is starting to actually give a little bit of a burn. Squeezing down on it. It sort of feels like a small dip. As I said, the Rogue pouches are actually pouch material, the pouch itself, bigger than these. These are sort of elongated and thinner. But these are a lot, the pouch is a lot more full. There's not a lot of free space in these. They could have literally the same amount of product in a slightly smaller configuration with the ALP. Flavor-wise, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of it. Some of the smaller nicotine pouches that I've done, like, I think when I reviewed a couple of them, I even had to pause to let them, like, sort of, like, snooze, to let them sort of develop flavor, because I didn't really get much. This was, like, right off the bat. And that's them having the moisture level. Rogue is the same way. All in all, Rogue is in a circular can. Now, these are pretty much dip can size. All right. They got plastic lids. You know, guys that dip gravitate towards stuff that reminds them most of their packaging, at least, whatnot. So the metal lid of Rogue sort of gives it up a leg up on that. The sticker, I mean, the you know, it's fine otherwise. They sell silver and gold cans at the website, and no, you don't want to know what they cost, but they do have plastic lids. The flavor, there might be more flavor than these in the Rogue. I like the Rogue products. I have really absolutely no use for nicotine pouches, partly because I have snus running through here a lot of the time, and if I have to have a spit-free situation, I still can go with a tobacco product. That said, from a dipper's perspective, I have always gravitated or thought the most obvious choice when it came to nicotine pouches were Rogue products. They tasted good, you know, they had the can, you know. These might taste better than the Rogue products, and they might have actually more flavor. So that, I mean, that is a huge selling point. There'll be a lot of people out there aesthetically that don't give a crap about what the can's made out of or what the lid's made out of. I'm moving around the other side to see if the flavor's keeping up. So my lower gum over here, there was a contact burn that started rolling in there a little light. But my whole gum over on this side is got like a pretty prominent, like, cooling sensation. And it's keeping up on the far side. The flavor is still coming on this. So this is a really good showing. Now, I'm going to look into more about what exactly is the company setup that's, you know, because National Tobacco, I don't think, would have to outsource to another country for production. I don't think, you know, I could be wrong. So that may need to be looked into. The part where they're not seemingly in retail stores is a drawback. Whereas Rogue, at this point, I can go down the street to a Wawa and pick up Rogue. At least the main selling flavors, mint, wintergreen. These would seem to be only online. So Rogue takes it with the packaging and the availability. These may take it, though, with the flavor. And with the 6 milligram being enough for me, I'm guessing 9 milligram would pretty much cover everybody, you know, with the exception of some people that have been, you know, doing Siberia for the last 5 years and now can't find anything else because there's nothing else lower, or higher rather. All in all, this is a really good showing for this part. It feels like a dip. A small dip by my standards. I throw in a lot of Stokers at a time. But it does feel like that partly because the pouch is so full. It's a smaller, it's a elongated, thinner pouch, but it's packed. So, let me show you that again. It's like packed in there. There's not a lot of, and this one is compacted still. When I start fluffing it, that's when I really start noticing that it's basically filled both ends. If you had higher nicotine tolerances, depending on, these cans run about, for a roll, I believe it's like $24 and change. You know, so you're looking $4 and something a can. I guess you could, if you really needed to, throw 2 in at a time, if you got stuck with a lower milligram. It all sort of depends on your personal preference, what you want to feel like in your mouth, etc. I'll tell you what you're not going to get. You're not going to get a tiny, tiny little pouch like on that you're going to lose in your gum line somewhere or forget you have in. You're not going to get that, okay? So if that's what you're looking for, you're not going to find it here. All in all, excellent showing. For a, you know, segment of the oral nicotine market that I'm not overly interested in, I am very glad that I was able to try it. Again, I'd like to thank Mr. Lammers for sending these over to me, and for those interested, the other 3 varieties, the other 3 flavors will be reviewed on the Patreon channel, and you can get access to videos like that on the lower membership tier, which is $1.25 a month. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew Guy. This has been my review of ALP Mountain Wintergreen. I do hope you all are well. As always, do take care of yourselves, and God bless.